Well, it's a long session tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. And if folks jump in, we'll say hi to them as they join us. My name is Teresa Keenan. I thank you for being here for the second session of Facebook Success Formula. This happens to be our Facebook Success Formula number 18. For those people keeping track of which group you're in. And tonight we'll go over questions from the last week, and it's going to be probably one of our longer nights that we're on because it gets into growth tactics and also avatars, and it's usually in growth tactics where people have questions. So even though I set this to go for an hour, depending on the questions that we have, sometimes it goes a little bit over that. So first of all, I want to start out with whether or not you all have any questions from the previous session.
I don't think I do.
Okay, good, good. If you do, just always know that you can send me those questions before our next session. Or I do have twice a month, I have something called Open Coach, and it's in your locker. So if you're used to going to the locker, there's a place there that says Open Coach, and you can click on that. And that would be a place like if you need to get, down and dirty and in the weeds on something in particular, let me know that ahead of time, and we can take some of our time on Open Coach to do that. So today, we're going to dive hang on here, into two different things. And the first thing that we're going to dive into is avatars, customer avatars, which will seem odd to you at first. And oftentimes when I talk about this, people think it's the hokiest, dumbest thing to even think about. But the truth is, this will be the thing that will drive your income potential with the stuff that you do in the future. So avatars are very important. And then we'll dive into some growth tactics. And I always caution everybody with growth tactics to try a few things, because what happens is we get into this class and we're so anxious to try stuff and we don't even know what we're doing. It's like having a magic wand and you don't even know how to use it yet. So dive into a few growth tactics, but don't spend a lot of time on any one of them, because later you'll make determinations of which ones you should use and when. So I'm going to start with profiles and avatars. We all have a variety of different customers. And since you're both quilt shop owners, I can make examples that are just quilt shop related. We have negative customers. There are customers that are a nightmare, and we have all had them. They're the people that just totally take up all of our time. It's the person that comes in with the magazine and wants you to help them to make a queen size quilt out of the wall hanging in the magazine. Or worse yet, they've photocopied somebody else's pattern and they want your assistance. Or they come in and they ravage through your scrap baskets and they buy very little. Or they show up every time you have some sort of a free event and that they don't have any income. Or they're just complainers. They just complain and whine and moan all the time. Those people are a drag on your time. They're a drag on your effort, and they do not have a very high return for the effort that you put forth. Yet they're your customers. What do you do? Chances are we don't throw them out. Chances are we keep them. But we all know when I talk about those people, we all have one of those customers. Nod your head if you have one of those customers in mind. Yeah, that you can put a name and a face to. You know exactly who this is, right? By the same token, we have our ideal customers. Again, when you think of your ideal customer, think of your ideal middle of the week customer. Think of your ideal Saturday customer. Think of your ideal block of the month customer. Think of your ideal online customer. You know what their name is. You know what they do. You know what their physical characteristics are. You know what their habits are as far as being on social media and purchasing from you. You know what they're interested in. You know what things challenge them, like whether or not they have a husband who's sick or grandkids living at home. And you know what their aspirations are. You know these about those customers. And again, nod your head if you know some of your ideal customers. See, this is the easy part. If we set goals based on our ideal customers and we set goals that steer us away from our negative customers, we'll make more money. It's that simple. Every big brand does audience and profile marketing. They figure out exactly who they want to target and they target that market. And it's real common for them to do that. And it's silly because in a quilt shop, we don't even think about doing that. And yet it's one of the key performance indicators for us. Hi, Margie. Welcome.
Hi.
We just dived in and I was talking about customer profiles and avatars and how important it is for us to identify different types of customers that we want to market to and customers that we want to try steering away from. Looks like Anita's joining us too. Hi, Anita.
Hi.
We just got rolling. I was telling Margie, she just joined us also, that tonight we're going to be talking about profiles and avatars. And we're going to actually give names and images to match up customers that are both our ideal customers and customers that just totally take up all of our time. Then we'll end up ultimately setting goals with those customers. So these, when I was in retail, and I'm not in retail anymore, if I were to do audience avatars for myself right now, I would do audience avatars based on my wholesale client. But because I'm trying to gear this towards something that you guys understand better, I'm going to talk about my retail avatars. And there are all kinds of pictures you can get out there. I encourage you to get a picture that matches as closely to the customer name that you've identified. So I want you just to think about your Facebook audience, and you all have different sizes of audiences. I'm going to start with Pat. She's one of my clients. She's in her early 70s now. She follows me on Facebook, and she also lives about an hour's drive away and used to come to everything I would do. She promotes my shop. She comes to our sales. She was always part of my block of the month. She comments on almost every single post, and she shares it out. Pat is an ideal customer for me. If I could have more Pats in the world, life would be good. I'd sell a ton. Now, ideally, I'd like Pat to be less than 70 years old. I'd like to have Pat be in a younger audience. So one of my goals might be, how do I develop a Pat in a younger audience? Does that make sense to you guys when I'm talking about that as an avatar?
Yeah.
We all have that ideal client. And if I gear things towards Pat, I use Pat for feedback. I use Pat for pattern testing. I use Pat for a lot of things. She's amazing. So then the rest of my clients, I kind of lumped into these categories. Odette with the safari hat on is from South Africa. Odette represents my international customer. She participates in a lot of my sew-alongs online, particularly my faith-based sew-alongs. She does not buy any fabric or tools from me because she's from South Africa. So as far as sales go, I don't have a lot of sales from her, and she works in a missionary camp, so I don't have a lot of referrals. However, she takes pictures of everything that she does and she posts it. And so when she does that, I get a good response on her pictures. That's some consumer generated images. So Odette's a positive avatar for me. And she's as much so, I have enough international clients that I have people like Odette. Then there's Karen. You can see her here in the pink. Karen is in her early 50s and she's from Ohio. She participates in a lot of my sew-alongs and she buys kits for me. And every time she participates in a sew-along, she posts pictures and images every time. She makes positive comments on Facebook and she shares my posts. So I see Karen as a very positive avatar for me, a positive person. People like her, and she's younger than Pat. She would be one, if I were still in retail, I'd be grooming Karen to take over for Pat. Then I have Fanny Freeloader. I don't know who she is. Doesn't have a name. She'll just download anything free that I offer. So if at Christmas time I offer a free little applique pattern and I encourage people to buy the rest of the pattern, she'll download the applique, never buy anything. She will show up in any free, she'll download free videos. She'll look at that. I just can't get her to buy anything. I also don't get her to share anything. She just is a freeloader. So Fanny Freeloader is really a bog on my time. She doesn't really contribute anything to my bottom dollar. I need to convert Fanny Freeloader into a paying customer. So every time we have something where we have someone make their first purchase ever, one of my virtual assistants checks to see if they'd been previously labeled as a freeloader. If they'd been previously labeled as a freeloader, which meant that they only downloaded all the free stuff, even a recipe, whatever, but now they bought something, I analyze what did they buy? What had I posted? What was the price range? And I actually figure out what made them buy finally. What was it? Was it the email or was it the social media post? And whatever it is, I capitalize on that and I start doing that more to get rid of more fanny freeloaders. Again, I'm marketing directly to that audience avatar, even though it's a negative one. Does that make sense? My last one here is Dan. He's a 55-year-old man. He's a non-reader. He's dyslexic. He does a great job quilting. He is very good at letting me know whether or not my patterns are easy to read. And I use him frequently in trying to help me decide if my images are correct in my patterns. Dan doesn't get on social media any more than what he'll send a picture through his stepmother. He'll have somebody post a picture. But Dan represents my male target. What he'll do is he'll look at social media. He doesn't buy from social media. He'll actually pick up the phone and call me. Or he'll drive here after seeing something on social media. Dan is afraid of inputting his credit card into social media. I understand that. We all have our Dans. So those are my customer avatars. Would you be able to categorize your customers in much the same way? Yeah. Okay, good. If you're able to do that, I want you to spend some time. You have a place in your Quilters tools that we have on the Facebook in the locker, and actually spend some time. Talk to your staff, talk to other people who work with your clients and see what they think. You'll be able to identify exactly who's your person that just buys everything. Who is that? How old are they? What kind of expendable dollar do they have? You need to know those things. And here's why. If I'm going to set a SMART goal based on my audience, I'm going to, first of all, one of the goals I'm going to set is based on the age of my audience. Take a look at who's following me on Facebook. And now this information is old. This is from a year ago, but I set a goal and I've doubled my followers in that last year. But look at my 65 plus. My 65 plus female category is huge. It's followed only by my 55, my 45, my 35. By the time I get down to the 25s, it's almost non-existent. If I don't do something about this data, then in 10 years, I'm out of business because those 65 plus are dead. They are no longer quilting. So I had to come up with a specific, a measurable, an attainable, a relevant, and a time-bound goal. And we'll work more on goals in the next 2 sessions, but this is what I use with that avatar. So I might be thinking, gosh, probably the problem is that I'm on Facebook and that's where all the old people are like me, right? No young people are on Facebook. So in order for me to target that younger audience, I better get off of Facebook. And that's not true. Take a look. The share of Facebook users in the United States, the largest age group are those 26 to 34-year-olds. That's the largest age group. And the second only to 35 to 44-year-olds. So I'm on the right platform. I'm just not delivering the content that they want. Does that make sense what I'm saying there? So I might set a goal that looks something like this. Reduce my 65 plus audience to less than 50% in the next 6 months. Now, I'm not saying kill them off. I'm not saying quit marketing to them. I want to reduce their percentage. And the way I do that is by growing the number in the other younger classes. So that I'm not actually getting rid of my 65 plus, I'm just getting more 25 through 55-year-olds. That would be a very focused goal. And it's going to drive the types of posts that I do with the absolute plan of trying to get more followers in that 25 to 35 to 45 range. Now, I will tell you that over the course of the last year, I have increased my followers to 11,000. My 65 plus is really right at that 49, 50%. I didn't reduce it by very much. But think about that. I went up by 6,000 And it's in those younger categories that I've increased quite a few of those people. So I was able to get more followers in that way. Other ways that I could use my avatars. Remember, Karen's my person from Ohio who shares and she does pictures and she follows and she's in my block of the month and she's in my quilt alongs. And let's say that I set a goal that I want to engage 10% more people like Karen, remote followers in monthly quilt alongs using user-generated posts, and do that in a year. So I'm going to target those people that are far away, they can't come to the shop, and I'm going to actually encourage them to give me user-generated content based on our quilt alongs. And every time I post images or video of the stuff that they've given me, I get more followers from farther away. Or think about Pat. She's that local person and she does an amazing job. I can reward Pat with appreciation posts every month for 12 months. So what do I do for Pat? When she has a picture taken of a quilt that she finished, I say, way to go, Pat. And all the other people that are close to me think they want to be Pat. They want their picture on there. So they're going to make sure that they send me things too. And Pat does my kits. They're going to do my kits as well. So by increasing my number of Pats, my local follower, I'm going to increase my sales. Questions on avatars and how I use them. Will work later when you set your goal. When you set goals later, you're going to have to define who is that client that you're targeting with those goals. So it is really important for you to take some time and pencil out those names, descriptions, any way that'll help you to remember, people that way you know exactly who you're targeting for your goals. And if we do those things, you'll find that you'll be able to encourage sales in ways that you've not encouraged them in the past. All right, we're going to go on to. So here's the part everybody always likes. These are all growth tactics, things that you can do to grow your Facebook following, and just by doing some simple things like this. Now, I'm going to encourage you to use caution. Don't throw out everything you're doing and just jump into growth tactics. These are things identified that will help you grow your Facebook following. But honestly, we're all going to line them up later with our goals. These are in no particular order. In fact, one of the best ones I save for last. So the first one is to make sure that your content aligns with your brand ideal. So what is it about your brand? What is it about your store? What do you believe in? What are you stand for? And when you align your content with what you stand for, you align with the quilters who believe what you believe. And that's a very positive thing. It's really important to note that quilters don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So I might make 20 kits that could be used for Quilts of Valor, and I could put 20 kits of Quilts of Valor out there for sale on my website and get nowhere with it. But I could show pictures of a retreat that we're having because I believe in Quilts of Valor, or I could show pictures of the quilts that we've given away. And I could write posts about the work that's been done to support Quilts of Valor. And oh, hey, by the way, here's some kits that when you buy these, not only do you make a quilt for a veteran, you support the other things that we do here that supports the veterans. So it's what you do and why you do it. So when you write content in that way, you'll increase your followers. Facebook rewards video. We have known this ever since COVID. When Facebook started to make a shift from static posts to video, they reward video. And when I say they reward video, it means that they keep it higher in the profile. So they'll let video posts sit a little longer in the profile than what a static image post is. It does not mean that you should throw out your static image posts. I actually analyze every single month what my engagement is on video versus what my engagement is on static image posts to make sure that I have the right combination. But here are some ways that you can use video. The first one is face-to-face video, like I'm doing right now. I could do anything I want to that's face-to-face. I could even bring in a quilter. I could have Pat right here, and I could interview Pat about the quilts that she made for Quilts of Valor this year. Anything that's just your face to other people is a face-to-face video. You can do a product video. Let's say that I want to show people how great fork pins are. In fact, I just taught a class last Friday and people in the class didn't even know what a fork pin was. And I thought, wow, perfect place to put a fork pin video. I would sell a lot of fork pins by just demonstrating how to use it. Using user-generated video. So this is other people giving you video. For example, I might have had a contest where I asked people how they chose their fabrics for Parables quilt, one of my faith-based quilts. Nothing in that asked them to sell Parables quilt for me. Just by having them shoot a 30-second video about the fabrics they chose that was going to be in the quilt along, and me posting those out over several days resulted in a lot of people signing up for Parables quilt along that I didn't even ask them to do that. Now, I planned that. I used that video very purposefully. It works like a charm. So asking people to give you testimony is a great way to use video. And if you don't feel comfortable with the ask, have a little contest. Have everybody, maybe you've done some sort of a quilt along and have people post a video with their quilt. Maybe they unroll their quilt and let it drop. Call it the quilt drop. And tell them that everybody that sends you a little video of that, it's only 5 seconds long, is going to be in a contest. And they're going to be in a contest for a free pattern or for something. Pick something. But they're submitting images to you. You now have the video that you can post. Infomercials. Why do we always forget infomercials? We see them all the time on TV, those extended commercials that tell you about things. We should be doing an infomercial every time we have an event, every time we're starting a new block of the month, every time we're heading into a shop hop, every time we know that the bus trip is coming to us. Anything that's big, we should have an infomercial for. And we should post it more than one time because our viewers don't all watch it when we post it. Retailers have gotten much better about unboxing videos. We did that during COVID. It was the only way to show people the new fabric. And we got really good about that. So keep it up. Keep unboxing. And it doesn't have to just be fabric. It can be your notions too. And customer testimonials. It's very, oops, sorry. I went back too far. There we go. I left off with the unboxing videos. So using video is a very important way to grow your audience because people share the videos with others. Also, because it sits in your news feed longer, it's more likely to be seen than a static image post. So keep that in mind as a growth tactic. Facebook Lives. Before COVID, when I mentioned Facebook Lives, people got all in a tizzy about that. Boy, they didn't want to do it. They weren't sure how. And we had to get good fast. The truth is, Facebook Lives get promoted by Facebook because it keeps people on the platform. Facebook is very selfish. They want people on the platform. And so if you're hosting a Facebook Live, they're making sure people know about it. There are a lot of things that you can do with lives other than sales. You can do a demo as a live and you can have it actually posted. Make sure you follow us on Friday. We're going to do a demo on how to use a fork pin when making Square Dance Delight, for example. So I'm going to show them how to do a fork pin. I've told them I'm going to show them how to do a fork pin. And I just dropped the name of the quilt that we're using. Maybe I'll sell some of that as well. If you have customers that have asked questions about your upcoming block of the month and you've answered each one of those questions, when does it start? Do I have to come into the shop to pick up my block? Do I have to finish my block before I can get the next one? Are there more colorways? Those are all questions they might ask. And you've answered everybody's questions. But did you ever think about doing a live and answering all the questions on a live? Because if one customer asks the question, chances are you have multiple customers that would like to hear that same response. And it shows you as being a very giving hostess when you're doing those lives to answer those questions. A promo for a sale that you have coming up. Be a great time to talk about your countdown to Christmas sale that you have coming up. Just shoot a little live. Let it go. People will see it. Maybe you have some new features, maybe some new features in your store. Maybe after market, you came back and you added a whole By Annie section. Shoot a live in that By Annie section, showing people where it's at. So people who are online feel like they know what the imprint of your store looks like. Maybe you have revamped your sewing room to add a big screen TV so that you can offer some online classes in your classroom. Shoot a Facebook Live to talk about it. New lines of fabric, that's something we're a little more custom with. Talk about all the lines that you have in, what you're planning to do with them. The sixth item that you could do is something that's informative or educational. Something as simple as how to press a strip-pieced seam straight without using a tool. It's easy to do, but people don't seem to know how. And I can show them, and by doing that on live, I can get a larger audience. And another place for Facebook Lives is a customer testimonial. So maybe we have a big reveal of our block of the month and people are bringing in their show and tell. Maybe instead of me doing show and tell in the classroom where we're doing this, I actually have a tripod set up and we're actually shooting that live. So everybody can see the show and tell. So think of those things as a way to help you grow your audience. Questions on those lives? You guys are easy, quiet. That's what happens when we meet at night. The next one is to make sure that you're using your Facebook Messenger. You notice that I have a pyramid here. Facebook Messenger is a place that people can communicate with you, but it's also a place where they make a mistake and they hit message in their comments on your posts, and they meant to just hit reply. So sometimes you get post comments in your Messenger, and I'll address that also. But to access and to leverage your Facebook Messenger, at the very bottom, the very first thing you have to do is actually turn it on. So if on your Facebook, it defaults to not being on unless you turn it on. And sometimes we turn it on and then we just ignore it. Once you turn it on, add a greeting. Hi, this is Teresa at Stitch and Tree. Thanks for reaching out. As simple as that. So when they click on Messenger, that's the first thing they get is a greeting. Consider if you have something coming up in creating answers to FAQs. Hi, it's Teresa with Stitch and Tree. Thanks for checking in. If you're trying to reach out regarding the upcoming block of the month, you can find all the information at and put the HTTPS link right there so they can get to the page that gets the answer. You won't always have FAQs on your Facebook Messenger, but you may have FAQs when there's something important coming up right now. A shop that might have had to close during a storm, for example. This is where they'd put information of what they're doing, how they plan. I had a shop up in Ketchikan, Alaska, and it flooded the pier where their shop was located. Their shop wasn't underwater, but people couldn't get to it. And so she posted messages in Facebook Messenger because not only was it the local clientele that couldn't get to her, but neither could the people that were on quilting, that were on cruises. Add an instant reply. So you have hours. I no longer have a retail shop, but I still have hours. So during the day, my instant reply says, thanks for reaching out. Someone will get back to you soon. My instant reply at night, my away message, and I have hours that I set that up that says I'm actually away, says, we're away from Facebook right now. Somebody will reach out to you tomorrow. That way, nobody thinks because they posted at 10 o'clock at night that I need to get back to them right away. And that may seem kind of goofy to you, but you have to remember your quilter clients that are online are around the world. They may be in Europe. They may be in Australia. They might be in a different time zone than you. It hasn't crossed their mind that you closed up for the day. They're thinking you should be able to reach out to them. Questions on Messenger. Oh, I know. I was going to show you where you can have mistakes. So when you are on Facebook, and if somebody is looking on Facebook and they want to reply, you can see that they can say like, they can reply, or they can send a message. And if they fat finger their reply and they hit send a message and they're talking into their phone, they don't even know they've done that. So you end up with messages in your messenger that are just responses to posts. You still need to reply to those. because they're just hanging out there. And if you don't reply to those, Facebook thinks that your customers are not important to you. And if Facebook thinks your customers are not important to you, they will not show your stuff in the newsfeed as long. So that's very important. The next thing is to encourage your users to generate content and give it to you. You got all these clients. Have them do images for you. Have them do content and information for you. And whoops, how can you do that? You start out by asking for it. One of the things that you might do is support a local cause. It might be Relay for Life. It might be something to do with Salvation Army Christmas giving. It might be doing quilts for Veterans Day. When you support a cause and you ask your quilters to say, so maybe you guys are trying to give away several quilts to veterans for Veterans Day, ask your quilters to generate images of the quilts that they've created for Quilts of Valor. And that is a way that you can promote that cause. It's going to sound selfish, but cause marketing works. And so when somebody gives me something to post, I give them a gift for everything I use. And that gift doesn't have to be a monetary gift. It might be just some simple little free pattern or little applique, or even just a sticker with a sticker that I send them electronically with a floating butterfly. It's still a gift. It makes them feel good. It's kind of fun. We all love to have stickers. Another user-generated content is to encourage people to leave website reviews. And when they do, then you celebrate their website review on your social media. You know, thanks to Sherry, this is what she had to say about Stitch and Tree. Thanks so-and-so, this is what they had to say about Stitch and Tree. You too can leave a website review. Well, people will do that for you. It's okay to ask for reviews. We think that it's not okay. Trust me, people want to leave you a review if you ask them for one. Creating a custom hashtag and asking your users to share it. So if I taught a class, and I just did recently, called Square Dance Delight, my hashtag is Square Dance Delight. And I asked everybody in the class, when you post the images of your quilt, use the hashtag Square Dance Delight. That way I'll know when you send that post out. And that way then I can generate that same image on my Facebook page. And they're happy to do that. Just plain old ask them to. That's all you have to do. And another way to get user-generated content is to do some sort of a contest. Have people post their favorite quilt that they made from a kit from your shop in the last year. Simple. Tell them for every picture that gets submitted as a comment on the Facebook post, that's going to go in the name for some sort of a giveaway. Maybe they're going to get a gift certificate. Maybe they're going to get a mystery package. That's a great way to get rid of stuff. But whatever it is, have some sort of a small contest or a giveaway. Questions on user-generated content? Guys are easy. Hashtags. So you've seen those posts that have, a little bit of copy and then like 5 lines of hashtags. I call that hashtag soup. Facebook hates hashtag soup. So it is not okay to use as many hashtags as you want. You need to know what the hashtags do and why you're using them. Every platform is different. In some platforms, it's a search. In Facebook, it's a sort. So you can sort by hashtags in Facebook. And when you do that, you'll come up with the most recent posts related to that hashtag. You can use hashtags that are unique to your brand. So I go back to one of my faith-based quilts. I have a hashtag called Parables Quilt. I also have hashtag Stitch and Tree Parables Quilt. So depending on how I use that quilt, I might need my own brand on that hashtag. For Facebook, 2 to 3 hashtags maximum per post. You can have 6 to 7 in Instagram. So this would be where you would actually have two different posts for the platform, depending on the hashtag. So no more of this hashtag fabric, hashtag BOM, hashtag quilt kit, hashtag fun. Don't do that. That's a waste. And Facebook thinks when you put those 25 hashtags on your post that you don't know sickum about what you're doing. And while you think that's going to get you more followers, it's not. They're going to just shutter that post down. And you'll find that very few people even saw that post. Recently, somebody came up with the idea of putting hashtag followers on the post. So it comes up in the feed of all their followers. Yep, it does that the first time. And every time after that, the more frequently you use it, the less Facebook puts it in people's feeds. And then the less they put any of your posts in their feeds. So the only time I would use a hashtag followers on my Facebook page was if I had something monumental that I needed to make sure everybody knew. Say, for example, a tornado came through town and it hit the building and everybody's okay. And I wanted to do a post to let everybody know, thank you for your concern. Everybody's okay. Hashtag followers. That's worthy of a hashtag followers, not my new Christmas sale. Question on hashtags. I encourage you to spend some time to actually research your hashtags.
That's something I'm confused. I mean, I've never understood the hashtag thing.
Right, right. So here I'm going to give you an example. If I do hashtag block of the month, okay? What I'm going to get is 15,000 posts who have used block of the month. Anybody that I follow, theirs will come up first. So here's JK Quilts. Here's an all Iowa shop hop. That was from 23 hours ago. Here's a Quilt and Bee. Here's some all Minnesota shop hop. These are all block of the months. Okay. Here's an example of what you don't want to do. There's hashtag soup. Some more hashtag soup. So that is just straight hashtag block of the month. Somebody asked me in my last group, well, what about BOM? What if you were to put hashtag BOM? This is where I say you need to research your hashtags before you use them. Here's what happens when I do hashtag BOM. 20 million posts. Wow. There you go. There's the first one. Has it got anything to do with quilting? Nope. Here you go. Here's BOM. Here's some BOM. More BOM. Oh, wow. That's going to get me a lot of quilters. More BOM. More BOM. Clearly, I was not paying attention to what I did when I did hashtag BOM. Right? There, that's going to be really good. I have to go a long way before I get to any. There we go. Finally. A BOM that started back in May of 22. Okay. So you want to really, really study what hashtags you're using. If I were starting a block of the month at Stitch and Tree, and I want my followers to know that's a Stitch and Tree BOM, I could say hashtag Stitch and Tree BOM, which is going to look a lot different than all those other BOMs. I don't even know. Oh, never been used. That hashtag has never been used. But if I operated with 3 or 4 different BOMs at a time, I definitely would be using the hashtag Stitch and Tree BOM on every single post related to them. Because then when somebody sees one of my posts, they can click on that hashtag and see all the other posts that I have that are related to Stitch and Tree BOM. So identifying some of your brand specific hashtags you want to use, like you might use, Tanya, yours is,
I've never used any hashtags on anything.
I'm trying to think what's your shop name. It's something.
Flowers to Fabric.
Flowers to Fabric. Okay. So you might do a Flowers to Fabric kits. Every time you have a kit for sale on social media, you might call it Flowers to Fabric kits.
Okay.
And when you do that, when they see one kit, and that's a place where I'd spend some time doing those hashtags, because guess what? You can sell kits. So every time you have something that's a Flowers of Fabric kit, you throw that hashtag on it in case somebody sees a kit they like, they can click on that hashtag, see all the other kits that you've had.
Okay.
Okay. But if you just do hashtag quilt kits, $13,000 posts, and you can do just hashtag quilt kits and hope that yours comes up high enough in the feed that somebody's going to see yours. So the question is this. Here's a reel from August 27th. Why is that the one that comes up at the top? Because that particular reel was looked at more than the next posts. Here's one from May 21st from Quilt and Bee. Here's one from June 21 from Gossipium. Here's one from Stitch from August. Notice none of these are from November. These are not November kits. So putting that hashtag quilt kits only works for you if you're going to be one of these ones that's highest in the feed.
I see people do the hashtag shop local.
Okay, here's what you're going to see. Hashtag shop local. 57 million posts. Wow, I can go get some brisket. I can get it overnight from Malcolm's shop. Here we go. There's an actual quilting one. There's another quilting one. None of them are local to me.
Okay.
So research your hashtags before you use them. Yeah, if your location is important, like if I say hashtag I'm close to Omaha, or even just shop Iowa, I could say Iowa. At least the first thing that came up was a post from yesterday, which tells me that if I put the hashtag shop Iowa on my post, it's probably going to pop up here. Here's a November 16th. Does that make sense? So questions on hashtags, 2 to 3 most, 2 to 3 most. So make sure that the ones you're using are going to have an impact for you. And again, you can have 6 to 7 in Instagram. You can have 5 to 7. I have a whole chart of how many hashtags you can have in each of the different platforms. And when you exceed their maximum, they automatically, if you're doing that with every single post that you have, they will shut that down. You'll still show a lot, but you won't show near as much as if you actually follow what their expectations are. And that makes sense. Their rules, their platform, their rules, they get to pick. Another way to grow your social media is to run regular giveaways. And when I say regular, I don't mean you do it on the same day of the week. I don't mean that you do it on the same day of the month. So you don't have your giveaways only on the third Wednesday of the month. Because if you do, you're going to have people jump on and follow you only on the third Wednesday of the month. And that's not what you're trying to do. You're not trying to train your customers to avoid you on those other days. You're trying to train your customers to pay attention to your social media any given day. So run those regular giveaways, do something maybe in your brain every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks, every 5 weeks. It doesn't matter what you choose, just choose something and then do a giveaway. And you can use any one of those other growth tactics to give it away. It does not have to be a kit, a notion, a thread, a pattern. Marie Adams in my last session earlier today said that every year she gives out a free Christmas recipe that she does. And it's a recipe for a cookie, or I forgot if it was a cookie or a bar. And she has it to give away in her shop. And then she gives it away free. And it drives people to her website every single time because she put it on her website because I told her to do that. But it's something you can do that you can give away. And then flash. Oh, sorry. Yep. Question. Oh, Nope. Just thought I heard something. Flash sales. Flash sales are sales that nobody's expecting. Flash sales make your customers and train them to follow your page. Because on any given day, you could be running a flash sale. So on Thursday, you decide that on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you're running a flash sale. You post the heck out of it on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it's a great sale. So maybe it's something that you were able to pick up in clearance. Maybe it's a discontinued Notion, maybe it's a discontinued thread color, whatever it is. And if you buy this thread color, you get this one free. I don't know, but it's a flash sale and it's something that you're offering really fast. You're going to have a specific goal. How many of those do you want to move? What age categories of people do you want to move them to? Do you have a goal on email versus on social media? You're going to make that sales seasonal. You could anyway. I can have a flash sale that's at Christmas. I mean, we do it now. We do a 12 days of Christmas. But what would happen if in the middle of your 12 days of Christmas, you had this immediately flash sale that nobody even knew about? And so your regular followers are following on your regular 12 days of Christmas. And then boom, you hit them with something different. I guarantee you they're going to pay a lot more attention on the rest of your 12 days of Christmas. And in your flash sales, you're going to promote the idea of scarcity. Quilters don't want to be left out. They don't want to think about it and have it be gone. So right away, when you're promoting a flash sale, you're letting people know right away that these items are going to be gone. This pricing is going to disappear. We're not going to have this forever. It's only going to go until we run out. So it might not be a sale that goes for 3 days. It might just start today. It might be over today. But you promote that scarcity and it'll increase your followers. Quilters will share that with their friends in a heartbeat because they want to share that scarcity and that sale with their friends. Quizzes and polls. This is easy. Every Monday I ask a question. Super easy. First thing in the morning, it's one of the things I do. Today's question, is today Tuesday? This week's question was backing fabric. Are you A, matchy-matchy, B, use up the rest of the fabric from my project, or C, whatever's on clearance? That's all it was, just a question. Got tons of responses. People forward it to other people. Silly. Doesn't sell anything, but it gets followers on my page and in a place where I can invite them to follow me. You might do something like you finished a quilt center and you have 2 options for border fabrics and ask people to choose A or B. Or you have 2 kits, have them tell you which colorway they like better. All that is designed not necessarily to sell, but just to get engagement. Stories. Posting regular stories helps you identify and reach a younger audience. So Facebook likes stories. Stories will run for 24 hours. You have some quilters who have their phone set up so that the first thing they see when they go to Facebook is stories. You have others that the first they see is reels. So you should have both. You can take the posts that you're doing and you can convert them into a story very easily. So it might be a simple post, might be a fabric from your shop each day, and it becomes a story. Might be your featured fabric for the day. When you're running stories, you should have goals related to that. So for me, when I was trying to get a younger audience, I started posting memes. And so I posted them also as a story so that when someone's getting ready in the morning, the first thing they see is this crazy little funny quilting meme. It helps support a quilter's customer goal that I had. You should schedule your stories. You can do that through Meta Business Suite the same way you can schedule your posts. You can always link your page in your stories, but if you're going to do that, I encourage you to only link 1 out of 4 stories with a page, because Facebook likes to see people stay on the platform. And then to have some kind of a call to action, call us, give us a call, visit our website, visit our Facebook page, check out this post. Any one of those things can help draw more people and engage more people. Starting a Facebook group. Prior to COVID, again, there were a lot of people that were afraid of starting a Facebook group. But starting a Facebook group comes with responsibilities. To start a Facebook group, end the group and not close the group tells Facebook that you have an inactive group. And it's the same thing as like, if I started a Facebook group for every block of the month I did, and when we finish the block of the month and we've done our reveal and we've done our show and tell, if I don't close out the group and get rid of it, it just sits there dead. And if I have over the course of time 50 of those groups that I just don't even use anymore, it's like having 50 satellite offices to my shop and there's nothing there for sale and nobody goes there to buy, but it just kind of kills your data. So Facebook rewards people who have activity in their group, but they also take away from places when you don't have activity in your group. So during the time that I sold retail, and I do a lot of faith-based quilts, I had a group called Quilters of Faith, and it got over 2,000 followers in it, which was a wonderful number. But a year after I stopped selling retail, there was no purpose for me to continue that group. I wasn't going to do a quilt along in that group any longer. I'm not going to sell anything in that group. So I was just relying on that group kind of self-supporting itself, and it's not going to. So I had to close that group. I did that by asking them to follow me on Stitch and Tree. Some of them did, but others did not. But if you start a Facebook group, you've got to be able to follow through with it. One of the things that you can do is make it visible to the public, but make it be members only. So you don't end up with people in your group that are there to hack and scam the other members of your group. So you don't get Jim the General who's going to be commenting on Anita's posts, telling her how beautiful she is and how much he loves the wonderful things that she says. And would she just please send him a friend request? Do not want to victimize the members of your group. So when you say members only, that means that they have to actually answer some questions in order to get into your group. And the easy thing to do would be to say that anybody who answers these 3 questions are automatically in the group, but I do not encourage that. I actually encourage you to take the time to look at their responses. So I might have something in there that says, what's the last quilt the name of the last quilt that you constructed? If they can't come up with something, chances are they're not really a quilter. And I'm willing to say no to them. Your posts in a group are interactive, so you get the other people in the group to be posting as well. And that's one of the things. So that gives activity to your Facebook account. And because you have activity on your Facebook account, Facebook shows your stuff in feeds longer. You can host regular lives in that Facebook group. You can encourage them to share posts of their pictures and their images. You can get feedback on things that you plan on launching. And it's a very safe place to get some feedback. So maybe you ask people in your group, maybe you have a whole group of people that are just kind of your very closest followers, and you ask them to be in a private group that's just going to give you feedback throughout the year. That's a wonderful way to use a group. You can give exclusive discounts and promotions to that group. But when you do that, then on your regular Facebook page, you say, oh, lucky members of our block of the month group, they got this discount on such and such. Well, gosh, I want to be in that block of the month group. What do I have to do to get in? You've got to join a block of the month. So it's a way to get people to join those things and make sure that they're part of that. And you can also give incentives to your group members for referring others to join your group, depending on the type of group that you have. Facebook will let you have up to 200 groups active at a time. So if you ever get to where you're at 200 and you want to add another group, you've got to get rid of something else. I personally have never gotten there, and I don't know anybody else who has either. So it's possible that you could, but it's a big number. Here's the one that people like. It's repurposing existing content. Remember, at any given time, your followers may or may not see what you post. More likely, they will not see. Facebook shows automatically what you have that you're posting. They show it right away to about 1.5%, 2% of your followers. Then based on your reaction, they show it to a few more. And then based on how you react to your followers' reaction, you may show it to a few more. So your goal is to have it shown to as many people as possible. But if over time, your reach is somewhere in the 5 to 6 times your followers, in the course of a month, that's a good reach. I always had set a goal that I wanted my reach to be 10 times my followers. My reach this month is just shy of 1 million, and I have 11,000 followers. So I'm actually doing close to 100 times as far as my reach goes. But some of my own followers don't see every post that I have. So when you think about the things that you have that you can repurpose, there are things that you should set up in a calendar and you actually show that more than one time. Contact details, how to find you, you know, asking people to sign up for your email, for example, and doing it on social media and asking for that. Maybe once every 3 or 4 months, you're going to remind people that you have this amazing newsletter you send out on email. Please sign up. Tell all your friends. Having a product description. I'm going to go back to Buy Annie. If I'm a Buy Annie shop and I have a Buy Annie area, so when I'm going to describe my zipper stash and I have that as a product description, I don't want to just do it one time. I probably am going to have that same product description. I'm going to post that 3 or 4 times. Anytime I have a high quality product image for, let's say it's one of my pin pals, chain ripper, whatever it might be, having that and posting it multiple times. So I have those go every 2 to 3 months. Testimonials and product reviews. Someone gives you a testimonial and it's a wonderful testimonial. Don't let it be wasted and just show it one time. Show it at least twice a year. Reviewing your shipping policy, especially now as we're getting close to Christmas, letting people know that when they buy $100 worth of merchandise, their shipping is free. It's a great day to post that whenever you're going to have a kit that's over $100. And so reviewing that frequently is not a bad idea. And you get to repurpose that content. It fills out your posts really well. Any sort of educational blog, say you've written a blog about pressing seams or a blog about how to use scraps. So anything like that, you can post frequently. You might post that every 3 or 4 months. An upsell offer. Buy this kit and we'll throw the tool in for free. Don't just post it once. You might post that 3 weeks in a row. Your brand story. This is the one that I think that quilters miss the boat on the most. In the previous group I had today, there's a quilt shop. It's called Country Stitches, I believe. Maybe it's Creative Stitches. I'll have to look it up. She's from Michigan. Her company has been there for 42 years. She took over after her parents when they retired. Talk about a story. There's so much there. Taking that opportunity to tell your story and to explain what you do. Diane, you've got an amazing story with your shade shop as you've moved from California to Texas. Take some time, tell the story, and post it frequently because new followers to you deserve to see that story. You can always have your brand story, the full story, located somewhere on your website, and you can tell parts of your story and just repeat them over and over again. How your products are made. I make pin pals. My pin pals are made right here in Iowa. I'm very proud of the fact that I can say they're made in America. They're packaged by high school kids. They've been marketed by high school kids. The local FFA used them to win a national contest for marketing. That sort of stuff actually gets a lot of people to follow my page. And I don't need to tell it just one time. I can use it several times. And anything that you have is a bestseller. My Barnes and Terrace quilt is my #1 seller for Jelly Roll quilt. So I don't just let it go once a year. I post it 2 or 3 times a year. So question? Was there someone with a question there?
It's a lot of information. I'm going to go back rereading all this.
Yeah, you will. You'll have to
Reviewing
look at the video. It is a lot of information. I know. I apologize for that. There's no easy way. And remember, these are just growth tactics. It doesn't mean you have to do them all, but you just want, in case you want to try a couple, I'm sure there's a few things that I've said tonight that you might think, oh, you know what? I never even thought about that. I should try that. Here's your #1 growth tactic. If you want to grow your page, this is the way to do it. So if you do nothing else that I said tonight, you do this. You engage, engage, engage. The first thing you do is you react to every one of your own posts. Give them a heart. If you don't heart your posts, who will? So you should be reacting to every post. Facebook counts reactions. They count your reaction as one of the other reactions. And they give you more credit for reactions that are other than the thumbs up. Thumbs up is great. But as soon as you get a heart or a care or a sad or a ha-ha, then Facebook keeps that post in the feed longer. React to every single comment. Like or love or care or hug or do something with every comment you receive. For every time they comment and you react, you get credit for that reaction. But even more important is you should comment to every comment, reply to every comment, even if it's a simple thank you or a simple thumbs up or a simple heart. Facebook doesn't look at the quality of your responses. They just count numbers. So let's think about that. You have a post, you react to it, somebody else reacts to it. That's 2 reactions. Then they comment on your post and you react to the comment. Now you're at 3 reactions to that same post. Just with that. They comment, you reply. Now you're at 2 comments. So one post, you have 3 reactions, two comments, and your whole credibility goes up. Okay?
I started doing this last year.
How's that work for you, Tanya?
It's worked well. I feel like I say the same thing over and over again sometimes, but I did only doing this. I gained 300 followers, and I'm a shop that's only open 1 day a week.
That's amazing. And that's wonderful. And that's exactly. So where did you start before you gained your 300 followers?
I just started reacting to the post.
Okay. Okay. That's the way to go. That is the most important thing you can do.
But
And
I comment, I comment on each one when they say something.
And when it gets hard to do that, when it gets to where you have so many comments a day that it's taking you time and it's taking you away from things, that's when you refer that off to a third-party virtual assistant. I have a team of people in the Philippines that do my responses and respond to other clients that I have, and they charge $10 a day.
Oh, wow.
Which is a nothing. It's an absolute nothing. And it's especially great when I have posts that do extremely well. So, for example, let's come over here. Well, hang on here. I had one right here. So here's a post that did fairly well. It was just a meme, posted it yesterday, and it had 524 people react to it. Okay, that's a really good number. I have 88 comments. Oh, no, 93 now. It was 88 today at noon. So this is a post that's a day old, and I still have people commenting on it. And I have 109 shares. So on those comments, notice, first of all, I've loved my own posts. It's okay to love your own posts. It's all right to do that. And then I have to, again, I have somebody who does this for me. So before tomorrow, she would have liked that. And she would have replied. I don't know what she would have said, but I'm just going to say, you betcha. Now, this is also where very easily a quilter can, by accident, hit send message, and they can put that comment in your messages. So you need to be ready to prepare for that. So you can see that as of right here, through yesterday, they'd replied to everybody. And then these few posts right here from today, they just haven't hit those yet. So it's now hitting daytime in the Philippines, and they'll respond. Facebook doesn't keep track of when those occur. But I will say the faster you're able to respond to comments, the more likely that follower, when they get a notification of your comment, is going to remember what that was about. Okay, does that make sense? So waiting 2 months before you reply to comments and then just hammering through that isn't going to help your post stay higher in the feed. By the same token, each one of these shares should receive a response that just all I ever say is thanks for sharing. That's all I ever say. And if somebody is shared and they've got maybe say 10, 11, 12 reactions to it, I like every one of those people who've reacted to that share. So they receive a notification that says Stitch and Tree reacted to your comment. And they think, Stitch and Tree, what was that? And they look it up. It's a way you can grow your following. All right, so on your Facebook page, if you go to your Meta Business Suite, which I don't know if I'll have any here because I did this earlier today. But if you scroll down, oh no, I do have some. Reach out to people. So I already did this at 1 o'clock today. Reach out to people who have interacted with your content, and I can say send invites. And I have reactions. So I can choose all the people who've liked, loved, cared, and said, ha. And I've just sent them invites. I do this every single day. And I don't really do this. I have somebody who does this. But when you're small and you've got time to do it on your own, this is how you grow your page. But do not think that Meta Business Suite's going to do all your work for you, because they are not. You come back to that Facebook page and you come to your reactions, and you have to do this on Facebook side. You can't do this on Meta Business Suite. And you click on those reactions and you scroll down. Well, there's one, Wanda. Oh, here's another, Marie. And the rest probably will be okay because I did this earlier today. Let me come up to another post. Here's one, Lynn. Remember, I only had 10 on Meta Business Suite. I'm already up to 3 that they didn't catch. So with those, you want to, on your posts each day, you want to take the time to check to see if you can invite anybody to follow your page. And if you invite them on the same day that they reacted to the post, the chances are they're going to respond with a positive and actually follow your page. So that's where I say this one is your gold mine. Engage, engage, engage. If you do not do anything else, this is the thing that you should do. Also, listen to feedback. If you have a post about a kit and somebody, or maybe an event you have coming up, and somebody writes, I'm confused. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to come to the shop or if I can do this online. If they're confused, other people are confused also. So you might want to think about adjusting that post, thanking them for that feedback, and creating a new post. And so that's where I say create posts and comments accordingly. Again, Facebook doesn't measure the quality of your responses. So when I have something and sometimes my responses are thank you very much, thank you so much, thanks so much. It's just a repeat, repeat, repeat. So with what we did last week and what we're doing tonight, here's my advice that you should be working on. Go back to your page, make sure it's fully developed and it's branded. Use your social media audit. Use your business page refresh. Make sure that your page is in the best shape you possibly could. Remember, I had my page where my header was just those 3 leaves that were on that tankeration. I've changed that based on looking at, and now my header says Tankerations by Stitch and Tree. I've actually sold some patterns because of that. Spend some time. Know who your customers are, who you want to attract, and who you want to try to keep them moving on. Okay, how you want to get rid of them, or how you want to convert them to somebody you want to attract. But knowing who those customers are will help drive our goals later. And then just begin posting. Post more frequently and post a variety. When you post the same type of post all the time, say you post only videos, then Facebook will actually kind of shutter that down. It's when you use a variety and you have a variety of different customers that see your posts, Facebook starts showing it to more and to more. And the number 4 is engage, engage, engage. What we have coming up next week is a content plan and a content map where we put those goals, we write some goals and we put them into action. In the next week after that, we're going to be talking about content, how to curate it, get it from others, how to create it. And then our last 2 weeks are about using data to help drive decision making. Those may seem like they're the most boring, but I have found in time that they are the things that actually help me to do the best that I possibly can. So hang on, I'm going to go back to, if you're not already familiar with your data, you come over to Meta Business Suite. So you can start looking at that, take a look at your insights. So you can see in the last 28 days, I've had 940,000 views. That's pretty good. And for me, it's up 24%. That means that some of my posts have done well. You can look at your results. You can look at your audience. There's my audience now. I'm at 53%, 65 plus. But this is a bigger number than what I was. It used to be 2.8%, and now I'm 4.7% at 35 to 44, which, if I think of 2% of a total of 11,000 followers, that's a lot more than what I used to have. So while I was looking to reduce this number, I actually reduced this number in order to get more here. So those are things that you just want to keep track of, and who your followers are from. So start looking at your data. We're going to learn how to use it later. Questions that you have for me?
I have a question.
Yes.
So is it on most of the stuff I post, I'm creating graphics in Canva. Even my stories are usually videos created in Canva, so they don't really have any people in them. Can Facebook tell the difference? Like, would it do better? I know that with photos, they say if it has a face, it's better, but is that the same for videos and other forms that I'm posting?
So yes, definitely. Facebook actually rewards faces. Followers prefer to see faces over data, over graphics. So one of the things you could consider is to take one of your posts that maybe you've created in Canva, because we always talk about branding. And if you go out and you look at, say, Tootsie Roll or somebody else, and they've branded everything with their brand colors, but they're not trying to get that individual person to buy from them like what we are. They're just trying to get their brand name out there. So it'd be a great opportunity for you to do some A/B testing and to do something with faces. So you guys will all know what I'm talking about when, hang on here. You ask a quilter to do show and tell, and this is what they do. And you say, no, I want to see your face, and this is what they do. Okay. Do you know what you do with this? You do a post and say, does anybody recognize who the quilter is? And when you do that, you will have a bunch of people reply with their guesses. It's a great way to get comments. And it's also a great way to get people to drop it down a little bit more. I call this my Tim the Toolman Taylor. Do you remember that show? He always said, was it Wilson or who was the neighbor across the fence? And all you ever saw was his eyes. Have some fun with this. Go for it. It's a way for you to get that. But what you'll find is that image, even with somebody's eyeballs, is going to get more reach. Start to measure your reach. And we'll do that at the end, I'll teach you how to actually look at that data. And you can compare it to, I could take that same quilt and I can put it in a beautiful graphic and I can offer that kit for sale. I can take that same quilt and put it in Nana's lap and offer the kit to her sale. And I guarantee you Nana's lap is going to sell more quilts than that graphic. Every time. Nursing home is one of my favorite places to go to get some pictures. Small children, animals, go for it. It's the way to go.
I have another
Other questions?
question. Can you, it might be for next week, but you mentioned having like a infomercial.
Mhm.
If you could find like an example exactly of what that is, that would be really helpful because I'm
Sure,
not sure how that
I
would
will.
work.
Your best infomercial examples are the things that you've seen. So imagine, so an infomercial is a commercial that's a little longer. So for us, it's a video post that's a little longer. So let's say that you are a Marty Michelle template um, shop and you carry all the Marty Michelle templates. So you might do an infomercial just on what is unique about Marty Michelle templates. They come in 1/8-inch measurements. They have engineered corners. Nowhere do you get the precision that you get with the Marty Michelle template. So when you think about it, you'd write a storyboard, literally like you're writing an infomercial about the Marty Michelle templates. And by having that, and you could post that, you can have that video. Now that's something that you can repurpose, say maybe 4 times a year. And so let's say I repurposed that Marty Michelle infomercial, and I followed up with this quilt that we're using, and I have now the tool I want to sell that goes with that. The same could be true if I keep saying by Annie. Let's say you're a by Annie shop and you want to do an infomercial about this whole section that you've dedicated from your shop to sell the by Annie products. And you want to talk about just how well constructed her bags are, how easy those patterns are to follow, how she has all the merchandise and the tools right there for you, and you have them right here. I just wrote 2 infomercials for you right there. So it's all those things you think about and you create a little storyboard that goes with it. And it might even include a testimonial. I was in a shop on Friday and I was teaching a class called Square Dance Delight. And while I was there, somebody came cruising through that had just taken a by Annie class. And they said, you know, I've never quilted before, but I wanted to make a bag. Wow, never quilted before, but they wanted to make a bag. Now she came back on a day when we're teaching a quilting class, but I see a testimonial coming from that person. It's not just for quilters, that by Annie section is, and it's for people who want to sew. It's for your people who want to create. Earlier today, I had someone tell me that they just taught a class on beginning like sewing to young children. And this mom took the class and she's a busy mom and she works in the accounting field and everything's all numbers and data crunching. And she's has no control over any part of her life because she has these little ones. And then she said to the quilt shop owner, she said, you know, I think I want to learn how to quilt. I think this is something I could do. And I think this is something I could control. Well, right there, that might be your infomercial, targeting that audience that you want to bring on. Maybe you want to bring on those beginning quilters and you want them to come to you for demonstrations, for easy kits, for grab and go on Saturday because they can't come any other day because they're busy. Maybe there's just a moms only night that young moms can come to. So keep those things in mind, but that's what you would do with an infomercial. An infomercial would be longer than a 10-second video. It'd be something where you're really describing out that product. And I'll find a couple of them for you. At any point when you guys have specific questions, twice a month, I have something called Open Coach. And so you can you go in your locker and click the link, it lands you on a website and you click on, it's like a class and you click on the section you want to come to. But when you let me know in advance what those questions are, I can have examples ready for you so that you can see them. And I can actually, like, I could give you a storyboard script document that you could use, things like that. Because the number of resources I have are so many that if I threw them all at you, you would be overwhelmed. It's overwhelming enough to do these classes.
How long is that open coach thing available to us?
For a whole year, the
Okay.
whole time. Yeah. So you're in it. Usually I forget to take people out. So
Okay.
you'll get notifications on it forever. So
Okay.
other questions?
when you're sharing something from someone else, like if I share one of your mimes, does that help me or does that help both of us?
So that's a good question. On those memes, it helps both of us. If you're sharing the content, you're getting more people to react to it on your page. But because you shared my content, I'm getting credit for the fact that you shared it. So it helps both of us. But if it draws more people to your page because you've shared it, it's a very, very positive thing. I have a class coming up. I think
Friday.
is it Friday? There you go.
Hmm.
Oh, it is. It's Friday morning because I'm wedding dress shopping right after that. My daughter, my 33-year-old daughter is getting married and she picked Friday afternoon to wedding dress shop. And I'm like, oh, I've got a class that morning. But it's on meme strategies. And I can credit fully that growth of mine from 4,500 followers to 11,000 followers on a very aggressive meme strategy. And in that class, I'll talk about that strategy and what you should do. For example, it doesn't do any good to post a meme that is not quilt related. Because when you post a meme that is just inspirational or it's about reading books or something like that, they're going to share it with people who are not quilters. It doesn't do any good to invite them to follow your page. They're not going to buy from you. So that's one of the things I talk about in that meme strategy is choosing very carefully what you're sharing. It doesn't mean that there aren't some really funny posts out there, but if they're not quilt related, I mean, I really don't need a meme that's going to attract the attention of a truck driver. Not going to help me at all, unless his wife is a quilter. Or unless he quilts in his spare time. I guess I shouldn't make any judgments, right? And then I'll also talk about the value of sharing a meme versus creating your own memes and give some examples of how you can create them. Memes don't generate any income. So by and large, they generate no income for you whatsoever. All they do is get followers on your page. It is your job to sell something else on that page. So on a day when I have a meme that has 500 reactions or 1,000 reactions or 3,000 reactions, or I've had memes that maybe have over 200,000 views. On those days, I better have something that I'm sharing that I'm trying to sell. Otherwise, that was a total waste of that meme. Does that make sense? That's what that class is on Friday. It is absolutely worth the $27 to get in that and learn how to use memes to make sure that you're getting as many followers as you can. That strategy has worked really well for me. I've more than doubled my followers and I don't even sell anything. So I think that's pretty good given I've got nothing new to give people. I'm frequently sharing, like I share kits from other shops. I share blocks of the month from other shops because I have nothing to sell them. Other questions? I knew this would be a long one and I apologize. It's just a ton of stuff. It's great that that video is going to be in your locker. You can come back to it anytime. It should make it so that you can see the parts that are important to you. And even later when we're setting goals, you can go back to those parts later.
On the Google Sheets, the Google
Mhm.
tool sheet, it says it's view only for me. Is there something I need to do to make it so it isn't?
Right. You have to download it to your
Okay.
computer. So I've done that very purposefully. What's in the drive, I don't want people to update my document. You
Sure.
download it
Sure.
to you, and that way you can use it. And you can add columns, whatever makes sense. I mean, there's a
Okay.
lot of different things in that, but download it to your drive.
Okay.
It's a good question. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, I'll get off and I'll get that video and your handouts out to you. And Debbie, it was a very good suggestion. I'll make sure that you get a reminder the day before the session in the future because it's kind of hard to remember from last week that you've got something coming up. So I appreciate your time. You all have a wonderful week. If you have any questions, just reach out.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.